The station of the stars. RTI.
Welcome to Postcard from Poprad. This is me here. Yes, I'm here because it's me time and Rach time and Lee time and everybody else time. And I think Mr. Banks has just arrived. I've heard the door go. That's Mr. Banks. You see, late for his own blessed funeral, that man.
Dear, oh dear.
Yeah, I know.
Hello.
So what you're saying is you didn't get up this morning.
I did.
You have to get a bit closer to that.
I just set off a bit. Oh, can you hear me then?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yes.
I just set off a bit late by accident.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Gordon Bennett. Do we then, my camarada Jan Tribula. Hello, Jan. How are you? I should talk to you in English because you're so good at your English now, mate. It's really kind of cool. And Paul's there already. Blimey, Paul.
Hello.
Paul is there already.
Is that Mr. Rustling?
No, that's Paul Brown.
Paul Brown D.
Paul Brown, yes, that one as well. I'm all confuzzled today. I'm getting too excited.
I've got something to say. Can I interrupt you?
Well, we better say hello to Rach first.
Say hello to Rach first.
Hello, Rach first.
Hello, Rach.
Hello, Rach first. I've got something to say to Uncle Lee. Hello, Uncle Lee.
Hello, Uncle Rach.
I wonder how is it that I can be on time from the other side of the world, but you can't be on time from the other side of the car park?
Because I'm an artiste. I'm unpredictable and exciting.
What are you implying?
Oh, you're dead now. Goodness sakes.
No, she's a thespian.
Eh?
She's a thespian with a th.
With th. Yeah, right.
I'm a thespian, but aren't I also a writer?
She's a writer.
You are published.
She's a thespian. She's everything.
I paint as well. If you remember those paintings that you loved.
I do. They were beautiful.
Yeah.
And no, I just set off late by accident. I was doing something important.
All right.
For the Consumer Watchdog Foundation, actually.
Watchdog?
Oh no!
The
Consumer Watch Foundation.
Oh, God.
.com.
Oh,
and so I set off late. Can I just say what I want to say?
No, I've got to say hello to some people first.
Dear.
Hello to Nicola, to Kevin. Paul says hi. I think that's all.
Is that the same?
Hi.
Yeah. Ivan says hi from Spain. Hola.
Hi.
Everybody's in Spain.
Hola, Ivan.
Hola.
Hola.
Jason's in. Sonia's in.
Hello, Sonia.
Hello, Sonia Webb. Sonia's waving.
Sonia Webb's in.
Sonia's waving to us. We better say a quick hello to some of the other guys, which I keep forgetting about over here. Hello to Cheyenne, to Andrew, to Chio. That's a nice name, isn't it?
Chio?
Yeah.
Mohammed, like a donkey.
Poor old Mohammed, who's always here, and I don't mention him, sorry.
Oh.
Hello, Mohammed. To Nick, and to Cora, and to John, and to Timothy. And there are so many of you on there, I can't squeeze everybody in. But we're going to let Rach go first.
Excuse me, I want to say something. It's very important. It's a public announcement.
Paul Brown says, CWF mentioned 1 minute 2 seconds, a new record.
Yeah, but I was also late. I arrived late as well. Listen, no, I've got a public announcement to make.
What?
You know, like Chris Evans has made his public announcement this week and everything, and it's that kind of thing. Well, I want to make a public announcement to the boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen and everybody else who's listening, including Eric, and say, I am really sorry to Mr. Eric Norman Wiltshire of this Popradian parish, because I've been very grumpy all week.
You have, haven't you?
Yeah, and I know what it is. I know what it is.
What?
I've been taking those antihistamine tablets. That's why I was like a wet, smelly lettuce on Wednesday.
Oh, right.
Because they made me poorly. And they're not to be sneezed at, really, are they?
No. Indeed. Hello to Lucy, to Steve.
Is that it?
That's it. And to Yana, who's joined us as well. Rach, over to you.
Over to me. Am I doing with the urgent Poprad weather report?
No, I'll do that in a minute.
Okay. Very, very sadly, a great, wonderful American movie star, icon and actor, Burt Reynolds, has passed away.
Yes, before you carry on, I am going to do something very naughty and play our little tribute to Burt Reynolds. Enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Breaker one, this is the bandit, it's a snowman out there. Am I hitting you, son? Mercy sakes, you put about 8.5 on me. Blowing my windows down, bring it on. And 4.
I got the metal to the pedal and the thing to the floor.
Don't you cuss on this here radio. That's a big 10-4. You better flip-flop back here and give me a hand, son, or we're going to be in a heap of trouble. What's your 20? Oh, I'm about 4 miles ahead of you, turkey.
Not for long.
Now, you know them Smokies, they got them CBs in their car now. You know that.
I know that. I haven't worked that out yet, but I'm thinking about it. What's your handle, son? And, what's your 20?
My handle's Smoky Bear, and I'm tail grabbing your ass right now.
Look, I'm gonna drop the little dolly here off at a choking puke, and then I'm gonna get right back on the job. Is that Hot Pants Hilliard I hear yakking out there?
And who wants to know?
This is a bandit, darling.
Well, where are you, you bodied-up, smooth-talking thing?
Bandit, this here's the grave robber.
Bandit, honey. This is the good witch of the north speaking.
My handle's Silver-Tongued Devil, and I'm here to tell you your fellow CBers are mighty proud of you out there. Come on.
They call me Big Dog.
I've actually killed in this movie CB radio show, and I don't even have a handle.
Frog.
Why?
Because you're always hopping around. And you're kind of cute like a frog, and I'd like to jump you.
Oh dear, that's just so wonderful, Burt Reynolds. I'm sorry, Rach. I know you were going to be terribly serious, but
Yeah, good old Bert finally delivered, eh?
But
Yeah.
he entertained everybody and made us laugh, and I don't think he would like us to be morose about it.
Well, it wasn't
I'm
a
sure he
Shakespearean
wouldn't,
actor, was
but
it?
it would be remiss of me not to mention the man's foray into the dramatic was really very well done. Not many stars of his ilk could make that transition from comedies to serious films, and he did it, and he did it well. I mean, Deliverance, for goodness sakes, that was not a funny story by any stretch.
It wasn't.
Brilliant
He was brilliant. He was brilliant in that.
The bottom line is, Rach, when you're doing comedy at the level he was doing it at, it's probably as tough as any drama you want to come up with.
Oh, and I can absolutely agree with you there, because I've done both, and it is tricky. It's comedy is hard in its own way, and drama is hard in its own way.
Yeah.
You've got to hand it to the man that he finally got his Oscar nomination for Boogie Nights, a movie I didn't particularly enjoy, but he was spectacular in it.
Yeah,
and he finally got some of the peer recognition that he richly
he did
deserved.
deserve it. He did. Yeah,
He did.
Absolutely.
What was the football film he made?
Good question. I don't know.
No, because that was a really good dramatic film.
Well, have a think while I read. After my major back operation in 1981, I was in a plaster jacket for 15 months, and CB radio was my only means of contacting the outside world. I wouldn't have known about CB if it wasn't for him. Nice one, Steve. Yeah, I'll go with that. Hi, Karen and Larry, Dorothy, Richard. Keith Lewis in the house. I know what you meant, Steve. Off you go, mate. Sorry.
I think the football film that Uncle Lee's referring to was called The Longest Yard.
That's the one. Yeah, absolutely.
Really good dramatic film.
You can thank Robbie for that. Robbie knew that one.
Thank you, Robbie.
and he had such a brilliant career, and some very publicised nasty private moments as well. When the Lonnie Anderson divorce was one of the first real epic divorces that we ever got to see out of Hollywood, but he just seemed to be a charismatic guy. Everybody loved to work with him. There was nothing but joy. I think he became a little bit more difficult as he got older, as we all do. But for the most part, it was a wonderful career. I remember the first movie I saw him in was Smokey and the Bandit, and I was a kid. And Mum got it for me on VHS, and I watched that movie 1,000 times over. Haven't seen it for years, but still know it word for word.
Well, I've been told that in London this weekend, there's actually some film clubs where they're showing Smokey and the Bandit, Boogie Nights and the Cannonball Run sequentially. And I've got to say, that's going to be an amazing night. Got to be an amazing night.
One of the greatest ones he ever did, though, was the one he did with Dolly Parton. It was his foray into a musical film, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Yes.
And that was a great romp. It really was a really good musical romp.
Yeah.
It was a spectacular movie.
Great stuff. Anyway, Keith says, hi both. Before we get on with more of the sadness, I didn't want to be too sad about Bert because, honestly, the clips I played you were just, I don't know, they really epitomised Burt Reynolds for me. His comedy timing was brilliant, which most comedians, it's the toughest thing you can ever do. And the way that he did it, visually as well as vocally, his facial imagery to the vocal was just awesome. Sorry.
I understand what you say.
Yeah.
There's somebody else shuffled off the mortal coil this morning as well, who was a great comedy actress, and that's Liz Fraser.
Yeah, Liz Fraser's gone as well.
She's gone as well. Tragedy. She was 88, though.
Indeed. Keith Lewis says, hi both. I think you mean three, otherwise we've left somebody out.
Who don't you like, Keith?
Are you telling me you don't like Rachel, Keith?
Oh.
You're in so much trouble.
Oh, really?
Rach.
I'm sorry. What did I do?
I don't know, Rach. I don't know.
What did I do?
Anyway, we've got a silly to do now because I've got to do the urgent Poprad weather forecast. He knows what's coming, Rach.
Yes.
Do you know what's coming, Rach?
No.
Right. I have been nagging Mr. Banks since he arrived in his black car.
My limousine.
To get it nice and clean.
Yes.
And he says, I'll wash it.
I can't get it out of the garage, though. It's too big.
So he says, I'm going to wash it. And I said, no.
But I went to blow the tyres up and I put too much in and it was like a thing, like a beach buggy, wasn't it? So I couldn't really.
So I went to the local supermarket, of which there's various ones, got this here stuff. And
ear stuff?
This ear stuff, which is a rejuvenating polish, which I used on my other car previously when I first got it.
But your car's little, mine's gigantic.
And so tomorrow he promised, Rach, that he would come round to my house where I can plug in the electric for him easy. I've given him the electric-powered buffing machine and polishing machine. It's ready for him.
They made a film about it.
And he has to clean his car.
Yes.
He then says, but it'll be raining on Saturday. Well, I've checked the weather forecast. If he gets to my house at 9 o'clock in the morning...
Well, I'll come before I go to bed then.
It's fine until 12. There is a little splatter of rain between 12 and 2, and then for the rest of the day it's nice and sunny again.
Well, come and do it. Yeah, what's this? What's this that we're doing later on, eh? Brum, brum,
That's why the lady was there. Did you meet her?
Who?
The lady in the office.
No, I didn't. I was late, wasn't I?
Oh, good. I'll tell you about that later. Anyway, Keith says, hi, babe, sorry. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, that's
all right, Keith.
love.
Yeah.
It's all forgotten.
Did Lee drink Poprad dry yet, and has this affected the weather? Well, yeah, kind of. Luckily, we're not going to ship it in too far because there's a brewery here that continues on its own, which he's now got stuck on his phone and on the inside of his phone, and he's got a visit card of the same brewery. And they've had to... well, actually, I saw the advert. Can we have an extra 20 staff, please, to keep up with the new sales?
It's black lager. It's unbelievable. I've never drunk anything like it. It's
know,
lager,
it's
but it looks like Guinness, but it doesn't taste like Guinness. It tastes like lager. It's amazing.
Beautiful. Hi to Paul Baker and Dubridin Ever. Echo Samaj Ever.
Echo Samaj.
She got mange a bit.
Yeah, she
went mange a bit.
Yeah, mange a bit.
Mange a bit.
Cheeky monkey.
Absolutely. So anyway, we carry on. Where did we get to? Oh, Rachel Bland, the BBC presenter whose coverage of her cancer treatment has won an award, which I have to say is a lovely thing for people to do, because she did actually completely and utterly diary everything that was going on, and she did as well try to make things positive for other people and say, you know, come on, fight a bit, get on with it, live your life, even how short it might be.
Well, that's it. It's not a new thing to blog your death. People have been doing it for quite a long time. I've actually published a couple of pieces about it. And yeah, you see, people can write about anything. You can write about success, but not everybody's going to be successful. You can write about failure. Not everybody's going to be fail in their lives. You can write about money. People are not going to have it. But the one thing you know is he going to die? And somebody like Rachel, who did this blog and recorded, I think she made a short documentary about it as well, didn't she? That is a good thing because it helps people face their own demise.
Absolutely. I've got to say thank you to Robert W. Thank you, Robert W. That's very kind of you.
Why? What's he done?
He's sent a whole batch full of likes to us.
Oh, very nice, Robert.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, man. Also, quick hello to Robert and Slavomir. Hey, ciao, how are you? And to Brian. Hello, Brian. How are you, mate? Alex Storm, the treasure hunter. He's passed away at the age of 80. He was a Canadian guy. And he found, actually, hello, Dorothy, found a couple of ships off the coast of Nova Scotia, which I think you know about, Rach.
No, but
I thought you did. I've got something in my... I know what it is. Nova Scotia's gone in my brain.
Why?
Peter.
Oh, it was in Scotland.
We have a joint friend who lives in Nova Scotia.
Oh, right.
There you go. Les Chamois and Faversham were two wrecks that went down. And he found these blessed things sort of like several hundred years later. What an amazing guy.
Well, that's what you do when you look for wrecks. That's what he did for a living.
Well, that's true. Yes.
He was an interesting bloke.
It's amazing nonetheless.
It is indeed. You might have to control me now, you two.
What's that?
Oh.
No. I've got lots to say on this as well.
Well, world leaders have backed the UK on the Novichok allegations. And yesterday, I sat and watched the United Nations debate.
Yes.
I don't know if you did the same thing.
I did.
Good man. About said subject. I am bemused.
Are you?
And I only have one thing to say on the matter, because you two can talk about this, because I'll get cross. Pardon me. The script that was written for the Russian representative at the United Nations was rubbish. The second thing is...
That's two things out of the one he was going to say.
Yeah. The second thing is, Mr. Putin, what the hell are you doing in a foreign country still, which you have no rights to? And number three, I might believe you if it is that you hold open, uncontrolled elections in your country for anybody to stand. And finally, you let RTI come into Russia, you know, your world, with cameras on us all the time, broadcasting all the time, completely uncontrolled, and then I might believe one single word or syllable that you're saying. Until that happens, you're all talking a load of rubbish.
Well, I understand. Actually, I respect and support everything you've just said. But there is something that bothers me about this. It was revealed yesterday that the chemical weapon that was brought into our country could actually have killed 4,000 people.
Yeah.
It actually killed 4, I think. No, it didn't kill 4, it killed 3.
Three.
Made a couple of other people ill.
Yeah.
And then we've now discovered, or we appear to have discovered, that there is another scent bottle of the same liquid.
Mm-hmm.
So that means potentially we could have had 10,000 deaths in this country. Mm-hmm. Now, if Russia had launched a nuclear weapon against us and it had gone a little bit askew and not quite hit where it was aimed at, 10,000 people might have actually died.
Now, if it was a nuclear weapon drop, that'd be it, goodbye.
No, not really, because it takes something like, I can't remember now, but it's about 300 nuclear weapons to wipe out the world. So he does all that with just one, and it depends on what size it is, and stuff like that. But what a furore and what a thing we would do if somebody had done that and potentially wiped out 10,000 people.
Yeah,
and
sure.
what we're doing, we've gone to the US. You're very naughty. You're very naughty doing this to us. Why are we not really doing anything other than doing a bit of a chat?
We are.
You know, the thing that bothered
really.
me...
Sorry, Rach.
The thing that... That's all right. The thing that bothered me and was... I found quite distasteful, but wasn't surprised, excuse me, was when they wheeled out the the lady who was poisoned with her dad, they wheeled out her sister in a press conference in Russia, and she was praising Putin's handling of the situation. And I thought that's just it really did turn my stomach a little bit. It really did. I thought this is clearly done under duress. She looked absolutely miserable, and I thought, what better point of guilt do you have than to wheel out somebody and say you? This is no different to when ISIS gets somebody in a cave and say, make this statement, and then, you know, they are subsequently beheaded or whatever. I'm sure this lady wasn't going to be beheaded, but this was clearly done under duress, and that's terrorism in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
And why have Russia attacked us? Why has Russia done this? If we don't particularly friends with America.
If you go back a bit further with the whole Novichok scenario, at one point this guy was going to the Russian embassy and blathering away at people. And in all honesty, I think it all got a bit too scary. People started to panic a bit, and then the whole thing goes into meltdown. And I'm not suggesting it was President Putin who suggested this was done. I'm actually saying it was some out-of-control rogue idiot who still lives in the past, like in the 1970s and 80s, and just went, right, that's it then, I'm off. And we'll sort it.
But they've said that it was the administration. It's now, the finger is not pointed particularly at Putin, but it's pointed at the administration. And why?
Well, the administration is Putin because it's a complete communist state.
Well, exactly, yeah. But at the moment, we're not pointing the finger directly. We're saying it's the administration. I agree with what you said, yeah, of course. But why, if you got one man who was acting like a bit of an idiot, do you then potentially wipe out 10,000 people in a country which you're not particularly fallen out with?
Well, that's why they did it the way they did it. And they knew how to do it. They knew how to execute the poison. And that's the reason it worked the way it did.
So leaving it here with its threat is just what? A scare tactic?
Yeah.
Well, why do they want to scare us? We've got a dancing queen for a prime minister who isn't doing any harm, who's not particularly friends with Trump. Their battles with Trump, not with us.
Yeah, but equally, we're just as bad as the three of us.
Us three?
Yeah, we're a threat.
Ooh.
You don't get it?
I get it.
You get it? Yeah, because we've got this daft thing. We speak to each other.
Well, yeah, I understand. Of course, I understand what you're saying. But it's a strange, strange thing. And it makes me doubt everything all the way around it. Why did it happen in this way at this time?
I get you. Steve's asked, people with good eyesight, Steve doesn't have good eyesight, regrettably. Tell me there's something dodgy about the stills. Don't believe that. Wouldn't it have been better to release the CCTV video to dispel the conspiracy theories? No, Steve, it wouldn't. Because there is a rule in the UK which is innocent till proven guilty, and therefore they wouldn't release anything in the beginning to say that something was right or wrong. There would be an evidence gathering scenario which would take place first. And up until that point, because the English law is still innocent till proven guilty, they would follow that track all the way down the line.
But no one's been charged.
No one's been well, there are now two people that the British...
They're not going to get them, are they?
But you're never going to see them because they won't get into the UK because they won't be allowed to leave Russia.
We've seen all the faces. The faces are all over the media.
Yeah, exactly, because they got out.
My phone won't switch off.
Yeah, exactly. Hi to Rado and to Robert and to Chris and to... Ferro. Hello. Gosh. So anyway, this saga will continue and ramble on for ages. Bottom line, in my opinion, is the couple in question, father and daughter. Everything was wonderful. And everything was nice until such time as I think he crossed the line. His daughter comes out here and they go, aha, I'll get two for the price of one. Thank you very much, goodbye. And it's just one of those things that will not be changed in my brain. Keith says hi to Chris. Hello. Oh, young Chris. Oh, my word. Young Chris. So there we go. We move on to shares of British Airways parent company IAG fell about 4% as the market opened because of some data theft. No new news there then.
I know. It's a funny thing. The flight industry, the holiday industry, is getting a terrible press at the moment. But surely something like British Airways should be looking after the data that it takes on its passengers. We're treated like cattle and idiots by holiday companies involved in the holiday industry now, and then for them to play. Just to lose all our information to hackers is just incredible. Surely they should have some better controls.
But even the trouble with hackers, and really good ones, even if you put new security, they round it in minutes. They're very brilliant at what they do, and a lot of companies hire hackers gone good.
Yes,
hackers gone straight to help them resolve these issues. And you see interviews with these naughty hackers, and they tell you that you can put up whatever you want, but they will find a way around it, and they'll do it very quickly.
Yeah,
and that's why people hire hackers.
I think that's the same with any technology, though, Rach. That technology comes up, and I always remember many years ago, actually with RTI. When we first started on satellite broadcasting, and people said, "Oh, you can't do that." I said, "Why not? If you do that, and that, you can fit that in there." And they went, "Oh, yeah, I suppose you're right." Because it's somebody described it to me once as the what-if test. And hackers use the what-if test all the while. What if I do this? What if I do that? Blah, 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 blah. And they do... Actually, I mean, people employ hackers these days just to find out where the holes are. And a lot of it isn't as malicious as it sounds. Some of the people actually do it just for the sheer fun of it. And they throw the data away, pardon me. They throw the data away. Now, the danger is that people don't know how much data is collected and or is damaging. And that's where the issues come in. And it's very difficult for people to actually decide what to do. Now, the easy answer to the whole question of 380,000 customers is if you know that you have been compromised and you've been advised, change your password.
Well, yeah, but again, it's making the customer responsible for what the company's done, isn't it?
No, because you should change.
But a person has to be responsible for their own protection.
Yep.
Rach.
I've got it. You don't expect the maker of a door lock to come round and lock your door every night, do you?
No.
Might do.
I got him. Well, I don't know where that came from. That was rather good. Sorry, Rach, off you go.
No, I mean, you really have to... yes, it is up to companies to protect the data. Absolutely, 100% it is. But it is also our responsibility to make sure that our data is... our own personal information is constantly updated and kept safe. And,
yes.
I mean, change your passwords regularly. I know that's tricky for some because, like me... can't ever remember them anyway, but you need to take care of your own data and then hope that the company that you're dealing with also protects your data. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Rach, I say something.
Hi to Mark and to Safi as well. Steve said they should expect a data breach if they don't update their operating system. No, it's nothing to do with that, Steve. Look at what happened to the NHS. Now, that's slightly different, Steve, in the way it works. There are differences in the way that hackers get in. I'm not going to explain that on the radio for sure. Certainly not. But I have shown Mr. Banks and things before.
Yes, but I have a riposte. What you're talking about is financial data, personal things that are secret to you.
Yes.
That you actually have to share with this company.
Yes.
Now, your analogy of you don't expect the lockmakers to come round and lock your door for you is perfectly true. But if you put all your money in a bank and all your private sort of worldly goods that you want to keep secret, you don't go round and lock the bank.
True. So what happens
That's exactly right. That's why it's a two-way deal.
Yes.
It's a two-way deal.
It is, Rach. You're absolutely right.
Oh, thank you, Rach.
Two-way deal. A deal for the NHS to offer exciting new child cancer therapy. That's Lee.
Well, yeah, but I haven't got a list. I can't read it.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
All you've got to do is click the button there, and there it is.
But I'm a Philistine.
I know that.
Yes, no, right.
Yes.
Can you move it down for me now?
Are you talking like Frank Sidebottom again?
Not Frank Sidebottom, no, Frank Highfield.
It wasn't Frank Highfield, you numpty. You absolute numpty.
Yeah. No, this is a really good thing, and actually you've moved a story into the wrong place, so I'll bring that in after. There is a deal that's been struck by the NHS where children can now, or potentially will be able to get very, very expensive therapy. And it will actually help people who are suffering from aggressive leukemia and that kind of thing. And this is a major, major breakthrough, not only for the children who are suffering from cancers, but for other people too. And that because there's a knock-on effect. I think this is one of the most positive stories of the day. And I want to say very quickly at the end of this story, there is a young lady called Alicia Teague who tomorrow is going to climb a mountain. She's 9 years old, and she is going to climb a mountain in Wales to raise money for childhood cancer victims.
What a lovely lady.
Good on
Yes.
her.
Good on you, mate. Hello to Mark. Hello, Mark. How the devil are you?
Hello, Mark.
Steve. That's the Steve Ward person. Ooh. So many radio people here today. And Dubri Vieira. Nice to have you with us. I think she's finished work now.
Who is it?
Vieira.
Vera?
No, Vieira.
Like a Sierra?
Like Sierra with a V.
Can you afford her?
Oh, Vieira.
Sorry.
Oh, dear. And to think she's been trying to learn English.
That's an English joke.
But it's not even English language.
Well, they got it in Australia.
It's cheap English humour.
Yeah, I got it.
Hi to Aaron and Noreen as well. This is a really tough story for me because, as some of you know, my former godson died of this particular problem many years ago. And it is a tough one. But, you know, these things... Sorry, Vieira's laughing at me now on the screen. Crying with laughter. But the good thing is, at least these guys are getting on with it. At least there's more developments. And that's the positive thing I can take from this. Because I can't be positively negative like some people. And, you know, it is a great thing for youngsters to be in a position to get the treatment that they were not 20, 30, 40 years ago. I think that's brilliant. And
even now, I mean, it's terrific for kids to have an opportunity to get medicine they couldn't ordinarily afford.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that terrible story a few months ago with Martin Turner and his daughter Kelly.
Yes.
They were trying to raise a lot of money so that she could go to the United States and get the treatment, and they needed over £1 million.
Yeah, I know.
And,
that's right.
And if something like this had been available, they would have been able to benefit from that. But the great forward story is that they've seen enough of little kids and other people, you know, dying of leukemia-related disease, and now they've made it. Big Pharma have made it okay for people to have that treatment without mortgaging their house and living in a tent.
Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful thing. Hello to Bud, Lucas, and Aaron's there as well. Also, Safi's joined us. Thank you very much indeed. Only half of Britons have the confidence to administer emergency first aid. And, do you know, in some ways I kind of get this.
Why?
Because not everybody is as strong as us three.
Yeah.
We are, you know, obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
Have the ability to be under extreme pressure inside and yet outwardly show none of it.
Yeah. Ah, right. I know where you're going now. Yeah, good point.
That ability to almost whitewash the inner to make the outer stronger is something that people like us do, and we three are very similar. That doesn't mean to say everybody is of the same stance in the world. And I kind of, it kind of annoys me when people say, well, there's only half the people that can do it. Yeah, well, have you ever seen what happens to me if I look at an operation on the television?
No. But I've heard.
I'll start sweating, I'll see the blood, and I'll fall over.
Well, that's it. But surely, wouldn't it be something that should be taught in schools? First aid should be taught in schools, surely.
Absolutely, it should. It
absolutely.
100% should.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But anyway, according to a survey by the British Red Cross, too many people, here we go, have a fear of taking action when somebody needs help. And honestly, I can't describe the pleasure of the end game being good. Does that make any sense?
It is a very nice feeling when you've helped and somebody lives as a result of you helping. It's a wonderful feeling, it really is.
And the I don't know if I've told this on here before or not, but anyway, one winter I came round in the car.
Yeah, you told it 2 weeks ago.
Did I?
Yep.
Did I really?
Yeah, you came across a bloke.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah.
There was blood all over the place.
Yeah, Okay, I'm trying to cut it out now. Anyway, we fixed the issue and it was all lovely and marvellous. And it's not as if in the training that you get today, it's as difficult as it was a few years ago, because it's only about putting your hands in the right place now, rather than breathing in. Thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get a bug from this person as I'm breathing into their mouth. No, not at all. CPR as it used to be trained is completely different to what it is now. It is purely pushing on the chest to keep the lungs operational and to pump the blood round.
There is a point to be made here, which I think is very serious.
Hold on, boys and girls, he's wagging his finger at me.
I'm doing a wagging, yes. Yes, that's my wagging. And what happens now? Is it really that people like you, and me up to a great extent, are put off by the sight of blood and gore?
No.
No, because what do people do now, rather than actually go and give a bit of CPR or a bit of comfort, they film what's happening to the victim and then put it on Facebook and then newspapers buy it.
I don't think that's always the case.
No, it's not always the case, but it's a big part of it.
It's something we never saw when we were helping people back in the day.
Yeah.
No, actually, you're right, because the modern world enables that to happen.
It does, but the same people who are actually doing it...
And the newspapers do report it.
Of course they do. And pay for the clips.
So it's the newspapers' fault then?
Well, it is. But let's also point out...
He said the newspapers are at fault. It's 2018 and I got there.
But there is a simple...
I know...
Sorry,
I know. In the United States, people won't help anymore for fear of being sued.
Yes, that's another point.
Which is a shame, because they're a very litigious bunch.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
Yeah, and we don't have that problem here so much. But we do on one side. The doctors are the people that suffer more than the citizens.
Yeah.
Because doctors, can go to prison even if they do a wrong diagnosis here.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously.
Interesting.
That's why they want war and peace signed before they'll let you out if you say, I've had enough, I'm going. It's a really huge thing. But anyway, I think the main issue really is just to think about what's going on, what's around you. And if you are able to go to a training session with somebody like the Red Cross. I mean, the Red Cross are in the Slovakia as well as the UK as well as Australia. And if you can go there and learn something, even if it is how to stop a bad bleed from an artery you're putting pressure on.
Absolutely.
It's got to be a good thing.
But why doesn't it get taught in schools? They still go back to that original question. Surely that is the place to have it taught.
Well, we weren't taught in school. We were taught in the Scouts.
Well, I think that's true, but not many people join the Scouts now. I know the Scouts...
Oh, it's huge in the UK.
Yeah, but it's not as huge as it used to be. Not
it's
when you were in it.
Now. Yeah. More.
I'll check it. Steve, find out for us.
Right.
Are there more Scouts now joining the Scouting movement than there were in, say, the 1960s?
Yep.
Go on, there's your job, Steve. Go on.
Off you go, Steve. Don't get me started on newspapers, says Steve. Hello to Arthur Sutherland. But I hope you're not causing trouble today, young Mr. Sutherland. He is. He really is. He has people running around after him.
What, like Steve?
Yeah.
Come on, Steve, you're not being quick enough.
And Arthur says, do this now. And they go, oh, I can't do it right now. You should have done it a second ago. He's so strong. He really is, young Arthur. Such a strong. Yes, where are we? I've lost the plot.
We've done the little legend. We're now on to Chris Evans for some reason.
Yeah, we are. Chris Evans' rubbish claims that the Radio Move was about money and stuff like that. and I actually get what he said. I understand
what did he say?
He basically said, I cannot take this programme any further than I've taken it, and it's time to hand it over to somebody else.
But he's not really taken it many places in the past, 5-6 years, has he?
How long?
Well, however long, I don't know how long he's been there. I've never listened to it because he's rubbish.
13 years now.
Rachel, do you know who Chris Evans is?
I do.
Do you think he's rubbish?
I honestly can't say. I haven't heard or seen enough of his work.
Yeah.
But the vibe I'm getting from the majority of my friends in the UK think he's kind of
But that's brilliant.
Why?
It's absolutely right. I mean, he's... Rachel, I'm going to have to teach him a bit of broadcasting now.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Because you know what's coming. It's the same as when you're on TV and playing a character. There are some characters that people love.
Yeah, of course there are.
Mm-hmm. There are some that people hate. Mm-hmm. And there's the best ones of all, the characters that people love to hate.
Yes, but you're not teaching me anything because that is the basics of writing anyway.
Exactly. Chris Evans has the top two in huge volumes.
Yeah, I accept that, but he's also quite mediocre.
But he's not.
I think he is. And I think Top Gear proved it.
No, he's not a telly person.
No. Well, never mind me toothbrush. That was pretty good. That other one he did where he had that band that started the show off and he sat at a table. I guess that was pretty good. What's happened with Chris Evans, to my way of thinking, is that in the last 10 years, he's lost it.
He's got softer.
Yeah, and that's it. That was what he was. I didn't like him, but he had an edge.
Steve says there's about 480,000 scouts in the UK. That's huge.
Yeah, how many were there in the 60s, Steve?
How many kids they back then?
Serious, how many were in the Scouts in the 60s?
I have no idea.
Yeah, interesting.
Wasn't that
many. Thank you for finding it out for us.
Yeah,
Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Anyway, Chris has been rubbished by several people, and he's going back to not Virgin, the original radio station. This is a completely different one, owned by the Wireless Group, which was set up by Kelvin Mackenzie, is now owned by News Corp. Doesn't mean to say Mr. Murdoch will be on it, don't be ridiculous. But I think I get with Chris what it is, because I have done this in the past. I mean, I originated with one show, I killed that off and started another one, purely to have a different challenge. And what he's saying is, I've taken the show as far as I can take it. I'll hand it over to somebody else because I want to start with a smaller audience and build it up again. I want the fight. And you know, I do it here. We come in and look at the figures every day, and I go, yes, even if it's just two more.
I agree with you.
It's one of those things, and it's the same with when you were getting the. I'm not sure what it is in Australia because I can't remember, but in the UK it's Barb for the television figures, and when you see the ratings go up, and you're on a programme, you go, yes, true, Rach.
That's true. We call them Nielsen ratings.
That's it, Nielsen, thank you, because same as America.
We had two more fans for the Consumer Watch Foundation yesterday, and I got the same buzz. Yes!
Yeah, you do.
Only two, but it doesn't matter. It was two more than we had an hour before.
Absolutely.
That's right. More is more.
And if you've ever met Chris, which I have, not through any sort of magnificent meeting place or anything, just an accident, when he's off stage, he's quite a quiet guy. And he's like me, very placid.
He had a very bad press a couple of years ago didn't he? And I don't think that's really helped his career. And he's going to have to fight to get above it because, well, he was painted as a bully, as a thug, as nasty, as arrogant, and all.
Yeah, but that's what you call me.
Well, you are, but so am I. That's why we get on.
Do you know who I like?
Go on.
I'm going to tell you who I like, and there was a news story that we don't have on the list this week.
Yeah.
I like that lovely Richard Hammond. I think he's gorgeous.
How getting gassed?
He got gassed in Paris, but I don't like him from that dumb show about cars. I like him from Brainiacs.
Oh, Brainiac was brilliant.
I loved that show. When I first saw that show and he first popped up on my TV screen, I went, cool, he's all right.
Yeah, see, you're not talking about the broadcasting. You're just having a girly moment over his
talking
bottom.
about his accoutrements.
I thought he's got a handsome face.
He looks like a musketeer.
Right.
I wonder what
He looks like a
like.
miniature musketeer.
I have a question. Rach, how long after the programme started did you think to yourself, wow?
About a millionth of a second.
You little liar.
Why?
Because you looked at his bottom first.
How do you know he looked at his bottom first? He was sitting down.
Because he was always back to the camera. His bottom was great, but I preferred his head.
This is going in the wrong direction. This is really going to go bad in a minute. It really is. But I get what you mean about Hamster. He's kind of...
And his pouches.
He's kind of the person you want to take home to your mum, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really likeable, and that's why women like him, because he's non-threatening.
Yes.
Unlike one of the idiots he worked with, but he's non-threatening. He is nice. If you're a girl, you want to marry him, and if you're a guy, you want to take him out for a beer.
Jeremy Clarkson's the sexiest man alive, apart from me and him.
That's why you have to get glasses, Uncle Lee. Better glasses.
Eric and Lee
Much better glasses.
Would be the best stars of Last of the Summer Wine.
Who said that?
Steve.
Get lost, Steve.
Yeah.
Go and look up a scout.
Yeah, Lee could be Foggy, couldn't he?
He could be Jew because there's two of him.
With these tied up Wellington boots and string round his waist. That would be so funny. Oh, gosh. But it is amazing how... The reaction of different people to different characters, and I mean, let's be honest, with originally Top Gear, those three are not their normal selves. They are acting on TV.
Of course they are, yeah.
Yeah, and every programme is acting. Well, of course, we don't do that here, do we, Rach?
No.
We don't? No. I have never acted on radio in my entire career.
No, absolutely. Hang on, let's just make the shuffle of paper as we read through the script right now. Script my bottom.
And
anyway.
now it's back to you in the studio.
I've always wanted to say that.
Go on, say
Well,
it.
I can say that. I can say that after everything I utter. Because you're in the studio and I am not.
You could say back to our Australian studio.
Yes, good.
Go on then.
Back to the Australian studio.
ARH, it's you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Lee. And now...
Yes, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. I just wanted to say, and now...
But we've handed over to you now, so what
happens
next?
It's up to you now.
I have no idea. We have got too many stories to run through, so I'm going to be a bit, how does one put it? A bit choosy about the stories. There's a lot of bad press about Uber, and they've decided to block awkward passengers, Rach.
I think that's really good.
Yes, I do too. And because, I mean, a lot of terrible things happen in these cars, and people don't respect other people's properties, and nor do they, respect people. So if you have done something naughty in an Uber, like left a mess behind you, behaved in a terrible way, slammed that door a little bit too hard, things like that, that will lower your rating. Now, if you behave perfectly, you still will never get a 5-star rating. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
But what they want to do is dissuade people from doing that by actually giving a penalty for bad behaviour. So if you fall a 4 or below, a 4-star rating or below, they're going to block you for 6 months. It's a ban.
Well, I kind of get that. I'm sorry, Rach. I'm actually trying to show Lee how to use the wheel on a mouse.
I just did it.
Oh,
I see the wheel bit.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that. Rach, have you got a wheel on the top of your mouse?
I don't have a mouse.
Do you? Oh, darling.
No, she doesn't have one.
I'm on my phone and I'm on my iPad.
Well, mine's got a little wheel on top. It's like a little motorised mouse.
Dear,
and if you rub it up and down...
Have a wheel. I thought mice had legs. I thought mice had little legs.
You despair, don't you, really? Anyway, I want to get this story in because there's two good bits. And I have to say, congratulations to India.
Yes.
Because that wasn't on Uncle Lee's bits. And this goes back to the old days when Britain and the Raj and all this sort of stuff was there, where they made it illegal for same-sex relationships. And only this week, and we're talking of a law that's well over 100 years old, has been overruled in India, making it legal for same-sex relationships. And I've got to say to the Indian court, bravo.
Well done.
Bravo. Because
welcome to the world.
Yeah, in this day and age, I don't have the right, and neither does anybody else, not even Putin, to actually say, you can't love that person.
Do you mean Mr. Pussysin?
Yes, him. Because you don't have the right. You really do not have the right. And that also corresponds with Neighbours, Rach.
I know.
Yes, this is actually quite enormous. First of all, I didn't realise people were still watching Neighbours, but apparently they are. It's they've had the very first same-sex wedding on Neighbours, the very first Australian same-sex wedding, because as you know, this was only went into law in February. So there hasn't been much time to get them all over telly. So, Neighbours have had their first same-sex wedding, and that was between two male characters, which is really lovely. And I think good on them for, because, I mean, TV always wants to play safe and cater to everybody and blah-de-blah-de-blah. But in that particular demographic that watches that show, it's a very shrewd move.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have to move on very quickly to get some more topics in. When Lee worked in the newspapers, had the Gutenberg press been invented?
Yes, it had. And the Times had been called the Thunderer.
And he used to work with hot metal.
I did. I am one of the last hot metal men surviving.
A British-born boy was unable to leave Belgium. He can now, due to a dispute over his passport. He's been issued temporary travel documents now to get back to his mum. And when I first saw this story, I thought, hang on a minute, there's something not right here. There is something not right here. Yeah. Now, this young lad, it's not his fault. It's got nothing to do with him. He just got caught up in the middle of it.
Well, he is only 6.
Exactly. So he went off to Belgium. When he tried to come back, his passport had been revoked. So on the way out, no problem. On the way back in Belgium, he couldn't get out of the country. So there was a big hoo-ha about it. And there are rules in many countries, including the UK, about parents being domiciled or residing in a country to enable the offspring to be citizens of that country.
Yeah.
At the time the boy was born, because I found this out, neither of them were resident in the UK.
Yeah.
So there was a screw-up, and the screw-up was they gave him a passport in the first place. Because his mum has to get visas to go anywhere, his dad's nowhere to be found, and it kind of makes me think, there's more to this story than meets the eye.
It's one of those things, isn't it? And what needs to be explained is why when you look at a 6-year-old child, do you think automatically only of what you perceive as a crime? Surely you should be thinking of that child as a human being, and you should work hard to work with the parents to solve the problem.
Correct. So therefore, they shouldn't have given him They've admitted they made a mistake.
Yeah.
They gave him a passport. They should never have done that.
Yeah.
Then the issue wouldn't have come
And
up.
how long did this go on for? It went on for, was it 6 weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Rachel, I want to squeeze this one in because I think this is a wonderful thing from the really hard-working paramedics that we have across the world. The emergency services, we should applaud them a lot more than we do because we don't. And these Australian paramedics were just wonderful, Rach.
They were, and just a little backstory on paramedics. There's been it's become pandemic. Paramedics are getting physically and verbally abused at every turn when they go and treat somebody. It's terrible, the abuse and they take a good beating sometimes too when they've gone to help somebody and they are set upon. And it's been a real thing in the news. But this is a nice story. And maybe people can understand why you shouldn't bash ambos. That's what we call them in Australia. You know how we're lazy with our words?
Yes.
They're called ambos. Just a bit of
I still call
linguistic stuff.
I still call the lovely Teresa in Poprad an angel because to go out in the middle of a night, even though there's 3 of them, and to treat idiots like me who had an asthma attack at the time, you need to be an angel. And they are angels.
They are. This particular story was just really lovely. These 2 female paramedics attended Mr. Ron McCartney. My glasses are failing me now. And he's 72 years old, very, very sick, very long battle with many different illnesses. And they were basically taking him over to hospice care. So that was their job, was to transport him to hospice care. And they know that these sort of patients don't eat regularly and they just won't take food. And it's a terrible, sad thing. So they asked him what would he eat if we got him his favourite thing. And the wife said, oh, maybe we'll ask him. And he said, yes, if you got me a caramel sundae from McDonald's, I would eat it. So they went and got it and put him in the back of the ambulance. And there's fantastic photos of him just adoring this ice cream, and they said it was great because he got it all over himself. He got it all over his face. He got it all over his clothes.
Brilliant.
And he was just loving every minute of it. And they got great photos of it. It was terrific. And then he died not long after. And it was a beautiful thing for them to do. It was really kind and in somebody's last moments,
Yeah, I think these guys, the paramedics that I've met over the years, and it's been quite a few, not all to do with me as it goes, but quite a few from motor racing times. They are so amicable people. They're so caring. They really are very, very cool people. And the things that they do over and above their medical requirements is just phenomenal. Hats off to all the people that look after us wherever they are in the world. I don't care where you are. You pat yourself on the back because without you guys, the police, the fire, the paramedics, the doctors, these are people that keep us old idiots going. And if it wasn't for them, can you imagine what the world would be like?
Full of young idiots.
Not very nice.
Not very nice at all.
Like that.
No, we need more. And they should get more praise than they normally do. So I'm very proud to focus on this story of the Australian paramedics granting a dying man's wish to have some ice cream. What a lovely thing to do. Rach, with that happy note, it's time to say to you, what are you up to this weekend?
Well, you'll be pleased to know that I don't have to work this weekend. My first non-working weekend, and I can't tell you how long. And I'm going to do a lot of lovely things that I never get time to do. I'm going to do a little bit of writing, and I'm going to also make some candles.
Candles?
I love doing that. It's lovely.
For candles?
Making candles is... they're so creative, isn't it?
It's lovely, and it's very therapeutic too. It's very relaxing.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you up to, Lee?
So I'm doing that.
He's just broken the microphone, boys and girls.
Because I'm going to be an Hell's Angel on the back of his bike.
No.
Why?
Only if you clean your car. Polish your car first, then you get a ride on the bike.
You can stick your bike.
You see, I told you wouldn't do it, didn't I, Rach?
I'm doing it. I'm going to his house tomorrow, and I'm going to clean me limo.
Polish it, dear.
I'm going to clean it. But the reason we didn't, because we couldn't find anywhere to clean the car last weekend.
That's true. I'll let him off a bit. Anyway, it looks like I'm going to be...
cleaning my car.
Supervising him. Whilst, if you're in Poprad, avoid the roads tomorrow because I'm going out for the first ride on the bike. It's now legal in Slovakia.
We're going out today, you said.
Might do. And other than that, it's time for Rach to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Sooty.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
And from me, a very good bye as well. Thank you very much for your time today. So many lovely things, and sorry we couldn't get all the stories in, but that's the way it goes on here. This is Radio Tatras International from Poprad to Plymouth. We are the station of the stars. Next up, it's Steve. And after Steve, who we got after Steve? I can never remember when I'm under pressure, but it's just the way it goes. We've got Steve next anyway, then Titus, then Keith, then Jim. And, well, there's just so much to sort of squeeze in. See you soon. Bye-bye.
RTI